PK52, the Saturday morning meeting. Hey, listen, during the week this week, I had a meal with some really big players with Toyota. And boy, there's a lot of cool stuff coming out. Gang, you know, I got to hear about product coming for Toyota that I'm not going to be able to tell you about right now. I'm just letting you know right now, this company is poised for the greatest surge in the history of automotive business. And that's both on the Toyota side and the Lexus side. So there's going to be a run, and it's going to be Toyota. So the product line that we have coming in the future is phenomenal. And the distribution of talent from going into hydrogen cars, into fully electric cars, into our hybrid genius vehicles, into Lexus Rovers that are going to be sent to Mars. I mean, there is a lot of stuff going on. So, you know, after 30 plus years with Toyota, you know, some people would start thinking about, well, what am I going to do when I retire and everything? I don't think I've ever been more amped in my life to work with a car company, because we're really not even a car company anymore. We've become a mobility company. We're into robotics. We're into the medical side of the business, you know, helping people that have lost the ability to walk to be able to re-walk again. I mean, there is so much unbelievable stuff that we don't ever talk about being a part of this company. So let's talk about you, and let's talk about taking advantage of something right now that is bigger than big. And I know I've been very repetitive about this, but I disagree with some of the things Toyota says. They'll give you credit for a class that you go to, and that's good for 2 to 3 years. Well, you know what? I'm not the smartest person in the world, but if I watch a class 2 times, I always get something the second time that I didn't get the first time, because it's just hard to grasp all the information. You get focused on one thing and the class goes off here and you're really trying to understand this. And so I believe in repetitive training. So let me say this once again. We are doing everything in our power as a manufacturer to advertise, not just on TV. I mean, we're doing TV advertising. Some of the Highlander advertising is good, salt of the earth, good home stuff, and it's a great vehicle, and people are responding to that. You're selling them. But it's behind the scenes and the digital ads that we're doing, the digital tags, the banners, the pop-ups, and people are out there looking for cars, both new and pre-owned and certified. So it wouldn't be both, it'd be all three. So they're looking for these cars digitally. I was talking the other day to a good friend that's been with Toyota for years. And I said, you know, the biggest problem, I'm looking at a Highlander, I'm looking at an LE, an XLE, a Limited, and a Platinum. And it is so difficult to figure out which is the best one. I mean, I don't want to buy stuff that I'm never going to use, but then I don't want to give something away that I think it would really be beneficial, you know. And I said, well, you know, a great example of that is when you move up into the top 2 tiers, you get torque vectoring in the drive system. And for somebody that drives pretty aggressively or drives in traffic, I mean, that torque vectoring becomes a performance and a safety feature. So as a consumer, how do I find out what that is? So I don't even know what I get from an LE to an XLE as far as package. And so those things are so important. So when these customers go online to buyatoyota.com and they start building their units, you know they're out there looking to try to figure out what they want. When we send you a digital lead, when you get a digital lead, we no longer can just sit there and go, yes, we have Highlanders, come see them. Listen, I don't know why that was ever a thing. So here's the way I see it playing in a dealership, and I may get some flack on this one, but like that's never happened before. So we have people that are in service. We have service writers to deal with the customers. We have technicians that recommend the service. You know, that's a whole different gamut. Let me take 2 seconds to touch on that. My youngest is a tech. Customer comes in for an oil change. Well, he does a full diagnostic on the car, and I mean, the car's a mess. I mean, every customer doesn't know everything they need to know about maintenance. Most people really don't know how to maintain a car because that's not their forte. And so he has to go back up to the ASM and recommends $5,000 worth of service. The transmission needs to be flushed. It needs a full metal on the brakes. The car's not safe to drive. I mean, there is a ton of stuff. It's got a fuel pump that needs to be replaced because it was on a campaign or a recall. I mean, so how then the ASM has to walk over to the customer sitting in the lounge that thinks they're getting a $39.95 oil change and go, well, you need to spend $5,000 on your car. So that takes a very gifted person to be able to not make the customer go, berserk at this point. Same thing with sales. We divided the sales floor. We got our management, we got our salespeople, and then we got our internet department. If the internet department doesn't actively sell cars, then their job is to be able to provide information to the customer, but to turn them into a buyer right there. So I believe, if we send you leads from all these third-party sources on new cars, pre-owned and certified, then I believe that every one of those leads need to be assigned to a salesperson. You guys need to sit down with your management and have this conversation. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. It doesn't hurt my feelings to be wrong. But if I'm in a dealership and somebody comes in and they're very interested in a limited Highlander, white in color, they've already spec'd the thing out, then within seconds, I want a video going out to that customer saying, hey, I'm KC, and I heard you guys are interested in a brand new Toyota. Listen, they assigned me to your account, so I'll be taking care of you. And then your contact information is there. Your cell phone number, your email number, how to be able to get a hold of you through the dealership. That's all printed right there. And you just say, reach out to me and we'll get started. I can't wait. And I just believe that's that next cog, that next gear. I want the customer immediately upon hitting the dealership to realize that there is a person that's been assigned to them right now. Now listen, there may be 10 Toyota stores in your market area. You may be the only one in your market area. But there's competitors. We're competing with Honda. We're competing with Hyundai. On the used car side, we're competing with everybody. So the competition now is not with the traffic. Listen, if somebody shows up at your dealership with the ability to buy a car, with the product lineup we have right now, come on. We should sell every one of those people a car because we've got everything they need. There's nothing better than the Toyota lineup on the planet right now. Nothing. But the people that aren't at the dealership that are digitally, that is our biggest opportunity for growth. It's never going back the way it was before. There's too much information. Listen, if you want to do some research on how the drive system works on the new Avalon that's not out, you don't go to Toyota's website. You go to one of these press leads where one of these reporters has had the car for a day and driven it, and they've got a 24-minute video going through everything in the car. That's crazy. I don't want to go to a third-party source, some guy that writes for a magazine or a blog to find out about the new Avalon. I want to go to my salesperson. So immediately upon reaching out to that store, I want to be assigned to a salesperson. I know I'm being a broken record right now, but there are thousands and thousands and thousands of leads that we send. Our lead count is up 15% year over year from last year. We're pumping more leads in. We're partnering up with more internet partners out there. So if somebody's looking for a car on cars.com, we're sending that lead to your dealership. If you're unaware of those leads, you need to sit down and have a management meeting with the management staff and going, hey, last month I sold 18 cars, but I was willing to sell 45. If you will get me in front of these people that are ready to go digitally and everything, let me get to 45 because that means everything to the dealership and to me. So that's just a challenge to everybody out there. We're just like, I started selling in the 80s, and I've been with Toyota ever since. We have dragged the top of our shoes, drug the toes out of our shoes on every single change that's ever happened. My first fight in my first dealership as a management was trying to get my dealer to go to use a computer to be able to log our customers in for service ROs. They were still writing everybody up by hand. And when a customer came back with an issue, those things hadn't even cleared the office. It was a disaster. And so I waited till my dealer went out of town for a hunting vacation for a week. And I bought everything, brought it in, and set it up. And I thought that was my last day in the business. I'm telling you right now, I thought that was it. I'm out of the car business because I certainly don't work here anymore. And once John came back in and saw how efficient this simple system was, it was over. But everything and every change that's ever happened in the car business, we have fought and fought and fought. The digital thing, there's no reason to fight it because it's here. Embrace it and go to the next level. PK52, the Saturday morning meeting.